I'm a 27-year-old man who has been in a relationship for nearly 8 years with my 26-year-old girlfriend. Our relationship has been difficult because she has acknowledged that she detests my occasional professional trips to other nations. She's been cheated on before, so she's nervous that I might be doing it again. Of course, I've told her repeatedly that I'm not. I went so far as to abstain from alcohol while traveling, make every effort to avoid interacting with other women, and even call and text her whenever I had a moment to myself. It's likely that her pregnancy has exacerbated her paranoia. Occasionally, I would even awaken to her sobbing over the phone when I failed to respond to her text message within the allotted minute. Even so, I made every effort to allay her concerns about me, which made me feel a little down knowing that she doesn't have complete faith in me. Tuesday of last week, I arrived home early from my vacation to surprise her. I also bought her a ring because I've been wanting to pop the question for a while, along with tickets to a movie she's been dying to watch and a large patch of flowers. An automobile I didn't recognize was parked in the driveway when I got back home. Given that one of them obtained a license 9 months prior, I figured it was her friend's vehicle. I heard music coming from our bedroom as soon as I entered the door. Given that she dislikes loud music, I found this to be a little odd. Upon ascending to the bedroom, I witnessed a sight I could not have imagined seeing in a million years: my girlfriend riding a guy I had never laid eyes on before. I won't go into specifics about what I did, but after 15 or 20 minutes, the guy left the house. My girlfriend and I got into a heated argument after that. She was accusing me of all kinds of things, including that I was never around much, that I hardly ever took her out on dates, and that I was probably cheating on her while traveling for work. All of these accusations are completely untrue, as I have always taken her out after work, even when I was extremely exhausted. And while I always proved to her that I wasn't cheating, I even gave her all of my social media passwords because I love her. Her accusation that I was a _ lie. I'm not sure why, but I lost it suddenly. She began shouting at me even more as I packed up everything we owned and flung it outside into the chilly, rainy street. Her yelling in my ear didn't help either. The amount of fury that built up was so intense that my head hurt. Now, I don't support what I did, and I regret it obviously, but all I did was grab her and throw her outside, screaming for her to stay away because the locks would be changed. I abruptly ended my work and announced a 2-week leave of absence, citing a family emergency. I've been so heartbroken since then that all I've done is drink myself to sleep. Next, the most popular remarks made prior to reading the update. 1. Give up alcohol. 2. Take an STD test. 3. Schedule a paternity test. 4. Go on and discover your calling. 5. Independent financial records. 6. To wrap up any loose ends, see a lawyer. 7. Let the family know. 8. Modify every password you use. 9. Wait to sign the birth certificate until the infant is examined and determined to be yours. 5. Get help from a therapist. Avoid becoming mired in a codependent and insecure relationship. They are quite emotionally taxing and cause a great deal of turmoil. Never feel as though you have to text back, give out your passwords all the time, or stand up for yourself when you're not really doing anything. You are worthy of better. Examine attachment theory and work towards achieving a state of secure attachment in a relationship free from mistrust and distrust. Hells to the yes on this. My ex-girlfriend was the same way in our prior relationship. She was inquisitive, demanded to know all of my passwords, and even perused my conversations with other people. I was miserable and it was toxic. I'm really happy that we didn't end up together. Years have passed since then. Eventually, I met my wife. She is much more grown up now, neither needy nor clinging, and we simply have mutual trust. She never once attempted to access my private chats or asked for my passwords, and vice versa. In relationships, trust is really important. Edit. I appreciate all of your messages and remarks, both public and private. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, and I apologize if I can't respond to most of them. I have stopped drinking and am currently receiving therapy. I intend to publish an update shortly. Here's the complete update. Hello to all of you. I apologize for the delay in publishing this update. Because of everything, I've been really busy. I want to start by dispelling some of the things that I noticed when reading some of the comments. To everyone who believes that I am a predator, I say screw you. Although our birth months differ, we were both born in the same year. She was born in December, and I in May. Secondly, I acknowledge that I was wrong to cast her out into the streets. My behavior is unacceptable, and although I'm angry, I should have gone to stay at my parents' house or a hotel for the week instead. For those who are curious about what transpired between the man and the person she was seeing other people, I got into a fight with him because he wouldn't go and tried to throw me out of my house. All that happened was that my ex threatened to call the police and told the guy to go out, which he eventually did. Third, I would like to address the comment stating that my account of the flowers journey is untrue. It's a ring for engagement. A month prior, I hadn't received the ring and had already departed to get to the airport to purchase the last few tickets for the film on the internet. In addition, I had purchased some flowers from a local grocery in the area where I reside. I would be pleased to address any more questions you may have regarding this entire scenario. On to the update now. In case you missed my edit, I'm undergoing treatment right now due to her infidelity, which has made me angry and increases my alcohol intake. That night made me realize how serious it was, and her cheating on me has made me realize how serious things really are. In addition, I want to mention that my ex has been pleading with me via text and phone calls, asking for my forgiveness and hoping that we might work things out. Additionally, she has been attempting to manipulate me by claiming things like, "You can't just throw your own kid and girlfriend out onto the streets," in an attempt to get me to let her back into the house. "You are the parent of this child, and you must accept full responsibility." No way with all that, __. I've finished, really. As soon as she started acting strange, I should have cancelled the entire plan. She attempted to break into my house again today, which I of course reported to the police right away. She was held for a few hours before being released. I'm not sure why she escaped arrest. She has to live with her parents until she has enough money to purchase a home of her own, and her parents have been berating me for throwing her out onto the streets. I will completely acknowledge that I should not have touched her and cast her out into the streets. I acknowledge that what I did was wrong, and I accept full responsibility for it. I'm trying to find a new place to live in a different town so I can leave this place. I want to leave this area immediately since I have too many unpleasant memories here. I appreciate all of your kind words and direct messages. Sorry that I was unable to respond to them. I really do appreciate them. I'm simply not in the ideal frame of mind to do so. I apologize if this isn't the update you were hoping for, but before I leave Reddit, I just wanted to make a few clarifications. Sure, as soon as the baby is born, I'll be having a paternity test, and sure, I might consider getting a restraining order while I'm at it, just in case she attempts to pull another practical joke on me. I apologize once more if this isn't the update you were hoping for, but I had some things to get off my chest. By the way, I apologize if this post is lengthy. I am grateful to everyone who has DM'd me with advice and encouraging remarks. I hope God blesses you all in the future because I really do appreciate you all. I adore you all and thank you. I'll make sure to provide an instant update if anything happens. Story 2. Did my sister-in-law deliberately tell me not to reprimand my niece and nephew, so I let them ruin the house? Am I the bad one for doing this? I am only 17 years old, and my brother Casey is 32. He is the husband of my sister-in-law Mandy, 36, and together they have 2 children, my niece Maya, age 2, and my nephew Nick, age 3.5. Recently, Mandy asked my parents if I could watch Nick and Maya while she went to see her mother because the first babysitter had to cancel at the last minute. It was my first time watching Nick and Maya. Although I genuinely don't have any expertise watching children under 5, I complied with my parents' request because I could offer them money in exchange. It was a horror seeing Nick and Maya grow up. They threw themselves on the floor, tried to flush bath toys down the toilet, drew on the walls with crayons and markers, and screamed for candy, acting as though they had never been told no or made to behave in their whole lives. The list is endless. I called Mandy and told her what Nick and Maya had been up to, along with my plan to have them take a time out by standing on the corner. In the end, Mandy did not come home early to deal with Maya and Nick. Rather, Mandy became upset with me and informed me that I was not permitted to correct them as I am not their mother, and I must find my proper role. Mandy begged me to watch Nick and Maya last Friday, the weekend after, saying she couldn't find another babysitter and that she wanted to see her mum again. My parents made me agree, and Mandy reiterated that I was not permitted to reprimand Maya or Nick. This, I'm very sure, is the real reason she was unable to get Nick and Maya a proper babysitter. Mandy stated I couldn't discipline them, so I followed her instructions. Nick and Maya were left on their own, with me keeping an eye on them to make sure they didn't try to flee from home or anything. By the time Mandy arrived home, the house was clearly in disarray. Mandy was upset with me and attempted to persuade my parents not to give me money. Even though a deal is a bargain, my parents nevertheless paid me, even if they expressed disappointment in me. Because even though Mandy's rule about no discipline was ridiculous, I had a dozen better ways to keep my niece and nephew busy than to be resentful and immature by engaging them in crafts or hide-and-seek. I stood by and let them wreck the house. Though, to be honest, Casey is a bit of an absentee father and hasn't said anything about it. The majority of his time is spent at work. He kind of just acts like the fun uncle when he's at home, with Mandy handling the real parenting. I'm trying to find an objective viewpoint that is active here. Do I look like an a-hole? Now for the best suggestion of all. Not the bastard. Perhaps you could have diverted the children, but perhaps not, and in the event that that occurred, which it most certainly would, you had no other options. This, I'm very sure, is the real reason she was unable to get Nick and Maya a proper babysitter. Even at 17, you're a bright young man. Most likely you were correct. Don't look after these kids ever again. Don't look after these kids ever again. I'm just putting it out there because it's family and things might work out in the end, etc. If you can't manage the house and you can't even get your parents to support you, especially if it's their house, I would say don't babysit these kids again. Even as a young adult, you will have to manage a home with children. It's the capacity to decide for yourself and act appropriately in particular conditions. Although nobody is flawless at first, you cannot be a good babysitter for these kinds of children, particularly when you are practically being treated like a child and supposed to behave like an adult. Not in its whole. All of that for now.